Hello, 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 and welcome to the Badabinshow, our Badaversary. We're one, feels like we're 100, but alas, we're here. I am one of your hosts, Dave, and down below me there is my partner in crime, Chris. Chris, we're trying this again.
We are.
We're not quitters.
There's that definition of insanity that the internet likes to quote. I wonder if that's what we're doing.
Really? What is that quote?
Yeah. Well, it's where you do the same thing over and over and expect a different result.
Oh, okay.
That's the definition of insanity. So we might be insane.
Yeah, I'm
but
definitely.
It just might be a lunatic you're looking for.
Exactly.
Turn out the light.
For those who don't know, we've had some false starts with the Badaversary because we have been on air for 1 year. We tried doing this a little bit earlier in the week, and we were just racked with technical issues to the point where, talking about lunatics, I was going batshit insane trying to figure this whole thing out. So
it was a wild ride.
Yeah, keep your fingers, your toes, all your appendages crossed, that we have a nice clean stream today. Think of nice stream, trouts, going upstream to mate. Think all the happy thoughts for the Badaversary. But anyway,
I've had my eyes crossed for days.
Have you?
Just in case.
Yeah. Please uncross them now, because I would like to lead off this version of the Badaversary with a little introduction, because, you know, it's not just me and Chris. We're not alone here. You know, of course, we're the two guys whose face you see when you tune into this program each and every time out, but there are unsung members of this program. For example, we have Chris Yu, who week in, week out always sends us great correspondence, questions via email. So he's like the silent partner of this program. And then we also have Bada, who contributes with, you know, all of his computing power. But now we actually have a new member that we tried to show off last time unsuccessfully. So I was wondering if maybe you were willing to take it away. And I mean, on our first anniversary, why not introduce everybody to our new baby? You know,
a new baby character here. It's because I guess our ratings were low. So
yeah,
we decided to reinvigorate the show.
Yes.
By going to Target.
Yes.
And being, you know, having something especially douchey catch your eye. Reminded me of a certain caller into this show.
Yes.
About a month or so ago.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him and I was like, "This is the Guy Fieri of birds." And I sent you a picture of this fella, and you're like, "Dude, you need to get that." And by the time I got that message, I was already gone. So I almost turned the car around, and I told the wife, I'm like, "I should have picked up that damn bird."
Mm-hmm.
So then the next day, she came back from the store with Bada Bird.
Yeah, there he is.
Bird up.
There he is, and all. There he is.
Yeah, he's beautiful. Even though we only see the top of his head, he's just peeking. There we go. Look at him, so patriotic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's all about it.
Oh, beautiful. Mm-hmm. What a lovely bird.
I need to get a trash can full of nachos and put him in it.
Okay. As his perch, as his little his
That'll
nest.
be where he watches over us.
Okay.
Yeah, this is airy. Yeah.
You know, I'm actually reaching over for something right now because I texted you before we went on the air. I get a fresh shipment of comics today.
Yes.
And I haven't read it yet, but the latest issue of Savage Sword of Conan, I was thinking might insult old Bada Bird as...
it's possible.
Is very... I think this is the original Guy Fieri. Right there, where he's going in for a little chicken. Well, that's like a vulture, but still some fowl to feed on. Similar. Yeah, maybe. Bada Bird, how do you feel about this? Well, he's back there underneath the candle.
He's not
Okay, he's
not pleased.
this is like the groundhog. We got 6 more weeks of winter awaiting us now. Yeah, thanks, Bada Bird.
Boy, I kind of hope so. It's like 96 degrees here today.
It's pretty hot here too in Dallas.
Yeah.
It's creeping up on me, bro. But unlike you, I'm happy for it. I need it in my life. So.
Well, we're having a pool put in, so it's like as long as that's ready in time, I'm okay.
Okay, so you can just conveniently take a dip with the bird in tow. Yeah, right on. So, Chris, do you want to shoot the breeze? You kind of want to get into just what's been happening lately with comic stuff? What do you got on your plate?
You know, I don't know. I was gonna let you drive this because you had a story you were starting to tell many times over the past couple days.
Yeah.
About your free comic book day experience.
Right.
I had a almost complete opposite one, but we can dive into both. I figure it's still kind of. I mean, it's relevant. It's not even a week old, so if you want to jump into that, that'd be cool.
It's fresh, that's for sure.
Fresh.
Yes, we don't call it Free Comic Book Day. We're calling it Fresh Comic Book Day. Boom.
Yeah. As fresh as Guy Fieri's Waterloo blueberry cobbler.
Yeah. No.
Is it Huckleberry? I'm sorry, Huckleberry.
Huckleberry cobbler. And do you want to let everybody know how that tastes right now? There we go. Take a sip. Swish it around. Oh. Are you sure you don't want? Do you want to put that into like a decanter or maybe like? Yeah, a snifter. That's what it is, not a decanter. You're so sophisticated.
I'm gonna put it in a flask.
Oh yeah, that's where it belongs.
Or an IV bag.
That's also a good idea. I was going to give you the alternative of like pouring out an OE 800. Like a big 40 ounce, and then replacing it with the Huckleberry Waterloo Flavortown edition. But thanks for that.
I tell you, the flavor's okay.
Yeah.
The flavor's okay, but it would be better if it was LaCroix. Waterloo has like a sort of like a fresh from the tap sort of tinge to it. Yeah, not the best, not as smooth as a LaCroix. Unfortunately, Waterloo has some flavors that LaCroix does not, like grape. I love grape soda, so having a grape seltzer is great, but it's Waterloo, so it's kind of,
I forget what I was watching with my kid the other day. Maybe it was a commercial. I can't remember the source, but the guy goes into a restaurant and he's like, yeah, I'd like a sparkling water with no carbonation. And the person's like, the waiter is like, oh, you mean a water? He's like, yeah, that. And, you know, it's a funny little line, but that's exactly how I would operate because I don't want bubbles in my water. But you.
Crazy.
I know. You're fancy schmancy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Free Comic Book Day. Hoot Nanny had by all. How many times have I told the story of the first Free Comic Book Day and how unceremoniously it was conducted? It's amazing how it has, despite your feelings on it, evolved or spawned decades later into something that actually has hype surrounding it, you know? This year, me, my friend Bada, my work pal, my bud, and my son Chris decided to go out and basically hit one store. And we chose this store primarily because it is purely, unlike your Huckleberry soda, which probably has a bunch of red number 8 in it. But anyway, does it, by the way?
Nope.
No?
Nope. Purified carbonated water and natural flavor.
That's it?
That's it.
Pure as the Arctic snow, baby. But we wanted...
Pure as Guy Fieri's beer.
That's not saying a lot. It really isn't. But anyway...
You could eat off of it.
I wouldn't.
No.
Unless you want hepatitis. But we were like...
A, B, C, and D.
the whole alphabet is to be found in that bleached out.
Omega Delta.
That too. Tetanus. We're like, let's hit a comic shop that's like 97% pure comics. Like, sure, they got figs there, they got random little tchotchkes and ephemera, but really, it's got a lot of bins. They're primary.
Not your Big Bang store.
There you go. Right. It's a store I prefer, I frequent, because of the fact they do have a large and wide variety of back issues. And, you know, with Free Comic Book Day, the owner was running a lot of different sales, so it was really cool. And we hit that. But here's the most amazing thing. Here's where I'm in complete and utter shock. I gotta pinch myself. Is this a dream? Is this all real? My son picked up a couple of the random issues offered for Free Comic Book Day and read them in store and enjoyed them. Mm-hmm. Beyond that, and here's where it gets extra nutty. When we came home, he asked for more comics to read. Dude.
Mind blown.
Unbelievable. And this week, I've actually ordered him some books off an online dollar sale because he wants to start building a little collection. Now,
sure.
For the uninitiated, or if you're new to the Bada Bin Show, welcome. Great time to jump on, 1 year anniversary. But it has been well documented that my son refuses to read anything, let alone comics. He just doesn't like to read. So this is a major, huge breakthrough. You know what I mean?
Sure.
With that, too, a lot of times when we dig and we take my son along with us, he just kind of zones out, sits in the corner, plays Pokemon Go or whatever crazy.
That's still a thing.
Yeah. Actually, recently, he was showing me a game he's been playing, and I'm just like, dude, that's Tetris. And he's like, well, yeah, kind of not really. And I don't know why I'm kind of surprised that, you know, was it 40 years later, 30 years later, that there's still Tetris knockoffs floating around as, like, mobile games, you know,
yeah, sure.
And people still enjoy them. But yeah, he was just reading while we were digging. He had a really good time. And so much so, unlike you, Chris, I have a little photo evidence that we're all having a good time. Yes, indeed. I was at Lame Brain taking some photos in the comic book shop. You know, I'm sure there were people looking at us or looking at me and going, oh, what a big fat jerk. What are you doing? Take it easy, pal. This ain't a time for photos. This is time for digging. And normally I'd agree with them, but we were having such a good time. I mean, why not, you know, memorialize the event? Keep it not only in my memory, but beyond that, photographic evidence, you know? So yeah, and I didn't even realize it. Social faux pas. I'm wearing the same shirt that I was wearing in those photos, but whatever. Laundry day.
No, we know you scent beaded up, so we know you're good.
Oh yes, I love my scent beads. Dude, this shirt smells so good.
There you go.
Show's canceled. Forget technical issues. Dave's sniffing
lock
himself.
Myself in the closet.
Exactly. And here's another thing. Before we get into your Free Comic Book Day, sure. I do have some thoughts on the books, because really overall I'm shocked about this as well. I was really pleased. Now this store, their policy was 5 free books per customer, which is cool. I really didn't have I'm not the kind of guy who goes in there thinking I want to grab every single offering, you know?
Sure.
Usually there's only 2 or 3 I might even be mildly interested in to begin with. So to give me 5 is hey, all right.
Chris Yu.
Yay!
Chris Yu says that he almost went to the store for Pretend to Care About Comics, but he got out of work too late.
Oh. Well, I'm sorry, Chris Yu. You know what? You can live vicariously through me as I go through some of these books here.
Or me.
Or you. Wait your turn.
Hey, I'm good.
The soapbox is waiting for you.
It's not even a soapbox thing. I'm subverting
Okay.
my own expectations with even advice on how to move forward.
Okay.
So I think I have a way to fix it.
Groovy.
But go ahead.
Well, hey man, my expectations going in as far as the quality of any of the books was extremely low, as it should be, because
of course. Because what we're getting the 6-page previews that Marvel and DC send to CBR before the books come out.
In many ways, yes, you are.
In all the ways.
Well, hold on, slow down, because this time around, I feel things changed a little bit. And I say that because the first book I want to talk about when I grabbed here was the Amazing Spider-Man Ultimate Universe freebie. And, I talked about the first issue of the relaunch of Amazing Spider-Man number 1000.
The Joe Kelly?
Yeah, the Joe Kelly.
Okay.
And I said it was okay. I thought it was good. I thought visually, with, I believe it was Pepe Larraz, is that his name?
Yes.
That was really the thing that brought it over the top. Well, here is John Romita Jr. on interiors, and the story itself follows a backup story from issue number 1. And
because there were like 5 or 6 stories in there, right?
There was a few, yeah. But dude, the writing on this, it was funny, it was humorous, it was entertaining. It followed the thread that was left yet again from that first issue, and I was thinking, this was better crafted, at least script-wise, than issue number 1. So, should I be happy or scared? Am I going to get more of this come issues 2, 3, and 4 of the regular book? Or am I just setting myself up for a letdown? I did get issues 2 and 3 today, so I will read those tonight and find out.
It's still twice monthly,
Yep.
Isn't it?
Oof is right for the wallet,
Yeah, big time.
But dude,
Big time.
I was gonna say I'm trying to stop myself, but I loved it. I love this issue. I thought it was great. The Ultimate Universe is the backup story in here. That was a give or take, but as far as Amazing Spider-Man, dude, it's exactly the kind of Spider-Man story I've wanted for a long time. So I really can't complain. Okay, next up I have, and this is the much hyped and anticipated All-In 2025 Special Edition, Superman Unlimited, that was a mouthful, from DC. Now, the Summer of Superman special, I kind of crapped on Dan Slott's first foray into what his vision of Superman is going to be like heading forward.
Sure.
Because as much as I can admire and respect the mission of trying to keep it, for everybody, and I understand, trying to keep Superman accessible, whether you're a long-time reader, first-time reader, and I thought this was far more successful than that little short story in the Summer of Superman special that I was pretty disappointed with. So, yet again, here I am wondering,
what you're going to
I like this. Is it going to be more of this, or leading back to that short story?
That's probably the first 6 to 8 pages of that issue, right?
Actually, I don't know if it is. I don't believe so.
I'd be surprised if it isn't.
I don't think it is, to be honest with you. I think this is one of those, and there's a title I'm going to talk about in a little bit, like Conan, where it actually is a standalone before the first issue. Let me see here, buddy.
I thought it said to be continued in Superman Unlimited.
Right to be continued. I'm sorry, this is enthralling live streaming here. It does. It says to be continued in Superman Unlimited numero uno.
Yeah.
So maybe you're right. Maybe they're going to print this and the rest of the story.
That's usually what they do with the Free Comic Book Day books.
Yeah.
Very seldom, don't they?
I know. Well, the Spider-Man one was a standalone kind of. You only get that story if you got this issue. Well, I mean, sometimes, I just cited Conan. They will kind of give it its own little narrative, leading into something else, and then you'll only see it again when it's time for the trade. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, yeah, time will tell. Time will tell. But I liked it. I dug it. So here we are. I had a great time out and about with my friend and my son, and now I'm getting home. I'm reading books, and I'm having a blast. This is great. Next up
there you go.
was a book that, I don't know, man. Like, maybe it's the Dick Tracy factor or something, but I had no intentions of grabbing this. This is one of those, as I just mentioned, we could grab 5, but I was really only interested in a few. So this just kind of filled it out. But Mad Cave is introducing us to a new Phantom series. Now, Phantom, listen, dude, you know it, I know it. It's been around a long time. Never really been on my radar. I remember the movie from like the 90s that was pretty junky, but I've never been inspired prior to last Saturday to pick up a Phantom comic in my life. So thankfully, it was free. And to be perfectly honest, it was fairly enjoyable as well. I liked it. Not knowing a ton about the character other than what I've seen in the movies or just by association of loving comics, a little bit about the Phantom. But this was a nice little starting point for.
And there was that weird cartoon in the late '90s with like all those pulp characters that were together for some reason, and the Phantom was in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with that, but I might.
You didn't miss much.
I might just sub to this and give it a shot. The creators were Ray Fox and Russell Olson, and I think they did a pretty good job selling a non-Phantom fan a Phantom book. So, I mean, why not? Surprised. I like this? Yeah, I did. Is to be continued? I don't know. Let's see. Only a couple more here. Let me just queue up their images to make it easier to see. I just brought up my buddy Conan. Well, here he is, Scourge of the Serpent. And this was also a pretty solid read. This one, exactly as I just described from the previous year. This is not the 6-page sample of an issue that's forthcoming. Excuse me. This was kind of a tale of young Conan as a thief. And I thought it was well done. It was a good little Conan tale. Yet again, happy I grabbed it. Now, Titan Comics, the publisher here of Conan, I don't know how many companies are doing this right now. I assume the majority, but I could be wrong. This can be read for free online. So, should you...
I think a lot of them are doing that. Yeah.
Should you feel the need or be inclined to check that out, they make it a wee bit easier for all the fine folks out there. Now, next up is probably the least favorite of the Free Comic Book Day reads, and it was actually something that we both discussed in private, and mostly the artwork.
Offline.
Huh?
Offline.
Oh, right. And that was Fantastic Four X-Men. The FF story, it was okay. It was just one of those silly little short stories, just nothing great, nothing to really write home about, which is unfortunate because
Really good. Really getting all those new readers in.
Yeah, well, and it's Ryan North, who I've said too many times on this program. I really enjoy his stuff, FF-wise. And it was okay. It just, like some of these other books, whether it is the Superman or Spider-Man, you feel like you're getting into something good, and that's why I'm scared of what the consistency is going to be like. This, however, was just like, yeah, it could have been written for a 5-year-old, you know, what have you. The X-Men backup, I didn't even bother with it. I just flipped through it, and I was like, this don't look for me.
I made it to the credits.
Okay, all right. Now, one of the reasons why you only made it to the credits was Ramos is back on FF, and you had some criticisms of his artwork.
Yeah, I just, we give Liefeld a lot of crap for, like, never evolving and actually getting worse. Ramos, I used to like his stuff.
Sure.
But this was awkward as hell. This was ugly.
It was kind of clunky or chunky, you know. It was like when I think about his work, I think the first thing that'll pop to my head would be the Peter Parker Spider-Man book he did with Jenkins.
He's been on like every
yeah, of course.
But I've never noticed like a decline. But this looked like if you're in high school and like the kid next to you is trying to draw a manga, and like the eyes are like crooked, it just doesn't look right.
Okay,
that's what I got from the Ramos art here.
Right on.
It just didn't look right.
Excuse me, I got a fit of the coughs here all of a sudden. Mark Wade's not involved. He's not hijacking my throat yet. Yeah, that's why I called it chunky or clunky. It was just, I can see what you're saying completely, where you could take his art from 2002 compared to 2025. You're not going to see a giant evolution there, and
you're going to see a de-evolution
Well,
almost.
I mean, it's one of those things where you could say, that's fine. It is who he is. That's okay. But if you showed me his artwork in 2002, you get excited about it. You thought it was kind of fresh. It had edge to it. Now it was alive. Yeah, it feels a little like, all right, dated, Maybe not to the degree of like Mark Bagley, but
no, or Romita.
Yeah. Romita, that's the other thing too on this new Spider-Man book, the ASM, is you got Larraz and then you have Romita Jr. both working on the book, and it's not like it's not a jam piece. They're not switch.
Yeah, they're not swapping pages.
But there's such a notice, or you can notice really a difference of energy, and it's a little off-putting,
I believe it.
And I think that's why, too, the Free Comic Book Day issue was John Romita Jr., but I thought Joe Kelly just killed it with the scripting, So, anyway, those are the books I grabbed for Free Comic Book Day. As far as the freebies, do you want to kind of peruse? And I don't have reviews or much thoughts on them, just kind of show you what I snagged as far as the books I got on the sale.
Sure.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go full screen for this so everybody can see these wonderful comics I spent my money on. Now, before I do that,
you're allowed to bring your wallet to Free Comic Book?
Yes, we are. It's amazing.
Oh my God.
And
holy
I know.
Cow.
And as a matter of fact, I told you about this because I was like sick to my stomach for a little bit, because there was a key issue of action they had there, and of course part of the sale was at $340, the first appearance of Parasite. And I've been kind of eyeballing trying to get a decent copy of that for a wee bit. And he had one. He wanted $50 for it. It was lower grade, of course. I mean, it's a book from the 60s, for crying out loud. Yeah. But I was like, well, let me think about it, and I'll come back, because we were looking at it together. He pulled it out, and we were checking out the condition, and it was good. But I was like, dude, I don't know how much I want to spend today, because I had this stack already in my hands, and mind you, I think like 4 of these issues I already own, but I got that weird rule of just like, ooh, this is in the wild. I like this book. I'm gonna grab it again. But I was like, why not just put these back, only get the key, and go for maybe like, you know, quality over quantity, like something I've really been itching to get my hands on.
Had your eye on?
You know?
Yeah.
But I went for quantity. I went for volume.
To be honest, you would have regretted either way. If you would have bought the Parasite book, you'd regret leaving those behind.
Yeah.
Taking those and not Parasite, you regret that too.
Well, I could have just, you know, ponied up.
Or done both.
Yeah, and just bought both. I mean, it was just, at that point, had I done that, my bill would have been like 90 something bucks, and I'm like, I like hunting on the cheap, you know? So I know, man. Like, I got the money, but it's just too rich for my blood, you know? So yeah. I can't allow myself to have nice things. You know what I mean? Because in a sane, rational manner, I should have said, yeah, slap it on my pile. Let's go. Instead, I was like, I got to choose. I'm going to put myself in this difficult situation I'm going to agonize over for the next week, you know? But alas, here we are.
Yeah.
And I'm about to show you all the books I snagged. So, Superman Man of Steel, number 30. Chris, I'm sure you're familiar with this gimmick. Yep.
Color forms.
Yep. The little stickies, you can kind of make your own cover. I don't know. Every time I see this, I like snagging it. Just because, listen, we've got our holofoils, our chrome, our different stupid covers. I mean, but when you think about something like this, it's... How many times has it been done?
Yeah, and if you find it with all the actual parts,
yeah,
even better.
Right, yeah.
I see that in the bins a lot without all the parts.
Yeah. I actually have a few copies of this now, so maybe I should stop. I don't know. Maybe this should be the last time I grab Man of Steel number 30. I don't know. Hulk 296. Little Rom in a very awkward position. He's pulling a Valentino. You think that's seductive?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, if this does it for you, I'll have to send it to you. Spectacular Spider-Man 138. Nothing significant about this issue other than the fact I just like it. It is a Conway ditty that I enjoy. Plus, you get Sal Buscema on art. Nothing wrong with that. Plus, Tarantula. Hey! And John Walker in the corner. That is not Steve Rogers. Amazing Spider-Man 381. Grabbed this because I didn't own it, speaking of Bagley, but it had Hulk on the cover, so I figured, why not? It's only a couple bucks. This one I actually got because it made me think of you. And
really?
Yeah, this is so coincidental because I was just saying, hey, check out, we got Tarantula on the cover of Spectacular Spider-Man here, and not too long ago I was talking about what design for Spider-Man villains tickle your fancy, and you had mentioned the Doppelganger. There you go. Maximum Carnage. So I know a lot of people got frothy over that whole event.
Wonderful story.
Yeah. Now this one I've talked about quite a bit, and this is the Byrne relaunch of Hulk. This is another one I think now I'm like at 3 or 4 issues of, but that Ron Garney art is just freaking gorgeous, man. I gotta have it in my life. Now, this, if we ever do the Sweet Spot comic seg again, this is gonna be the first one up for me. And this is Incredible Hulk number 376, and it holds a lot of sentimental value for various reasons, which I'm probably gonna sit on for now, just in case we do ever do that seg again.
Sure.
But dude, I mean, come on. Look at this cover. Look how beautiful it is. Oh. How can, like, I don't know, man. It's like one of those issues where it's just so stunning, the imagery and everything else. Like, you see it in the wild, you already own it, but how can you leave it? Oh. And I bet you do it all the time.
All the time.
Okay. Next was a Marvel Age 84. I grabbed this because, yet again, we talk about Namor and Byrne on the show before, so I figured, why not? I actually remember owning this issue when I was a youngster. I've never really yearned for it, but I just saw it sitting there in the bin, so I'm like, hey, it's free comic book day. I'm buying stuff. Let's go for broke. Here's a package deal. Jurassic Park, the movie adaptations 2 and 3. I love Jurassic Park. It's something that is a family affair. Everybody in my house loves Jurassic Park, and I've never owned the comics. Quality, not so great, but...
Oh, it's Topps, right?
Yeah, it's the Topps book.
Yeah.
Simonson wrote it. It was Gil Kane on art. Very gimmicky polybag stuff that came with some trading cards. And the trading cards weren't of the movie. It's of the Gil Kane art of dinosaurs. So, just so you know. Couple more here. Superman 415 needed this to fill a hole. So that was a successful find for me. And then last but not least, Detective Comics 568 Legends crossover with an extremely wrinkly bag here. But, I mean, it's a cool cover. It's from an event that I enjoyed, so it was super cheap. Why leave it behind, you know?
And it's got that fun detective logo on it.
It does, yeah. Right. So those were the pickups I made. Now, listen. I've had this conversation in my head. Would you trade these for Action Comics 340?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I know. But instead, I decided to come home with these. So that's life. But I just got to eat up a good 8 minutes of the Bada Bin show.
Hey.
Thanks to this. So, you know, Action Comics 340 would have taken 22 seconds. Now, I do have more comics to discuss. What's that? Chris, you there? Did you freeze?
Just be Jim Shooter. I think we both.
Oh, no.
I didn't want to.
Oh, don't say it. Okay, Jim Shooter what?
Oh, Jim Shooter wrote this. So it would be like the whole Parasite review.
Okay.
Jim Shooter wrote this when he was 8.
Yeah.
However old he was.
Right. All right, well, I do have some more books to discuss today, but I want to yield my time to the congressman from Arizona and let him discuss Free Comic Book Day 2025.
Okay. Before I get going, if Chris, you is still there, let us know if we're still coming across. As you were talking, you froze a couple times, but it looked like it went okay on the screen.
Okay.
Like I'm watching us here on the phone, because I'm afraid to open a browser. So I'm watching us there, and it didn't look like there was any stutters, but I'm seeing stutters here on our little chat window. So if we are intermittent, please let us know.
Please, indeed.
Yes, but my Free Comic Book Day experience was quite the opposite of yours.
Bummer.
You know, it's one of those things where it's like, I shouldn't expect anything, because they promoted this one with comics are for everybody, but I guess that leaves out folks who actually, Chris Hughes says we still look good. I guess that leaves out people who are already there supporting the stores, because I even hate to say this. One of the handful of reasons I'm still in the state of Arizona is because we had such a robust retail market. Great back issues, just amazing. Unmatched from my experience. But things have changed, and it's unfortunate. So I go to Free Comic Book Day and I'm expecting, I don't know, maybe some of the back issue bins are restocked. Or maybe there's just more stuff out. No, no, it wasn't the case. I went to a few shops. At one of them, I was the only person there. And the other one, there were just a few people there. And nobody was in the bins. Um, a lot of people were there to get like sketches from local artists, which I mean, that's cool if that's what you want. But I look at Free Comic Book Day as an opportunity to snag new people, sure, but also to appreciate the people who are there, the people who keep the lights on for you. I mean, it's not a brag or a flex to say I've poured tens of thousands of dollars into the local comics retail. That's stupidity on my part. It's illness. But it's true. And here we are on like Comics' Black Friday, and I can't find anything in a bin because they haven't restocked the bins in years. It's sad. It's unfortunate. The only thing I bought on Free Comic Book Day was the Summer of Superman special, because I forgot to order it, or I ordered the stupid Last Days of Lex Luthor thing from Black Label instead of Summer of Superman somehow. So I bought that, and I picked up three of the Free Comic Book Day offerings. I picked up the Fantastic Four one, the All-In one, and the Conan one, oddly enough, because I was thinking of you. I'm like, there's nothing else here I want.
Wow.
Yeah. They're like, oh, you could take, I don't remember how many you could take, and I was like, there's nothing here I want. Because everything just looked very... It's a question I asked during Record Store Day. It's like, who does this help? Besides, people taking pictures of themselves with comics for a day. I just don't see it as being much of a... it's a wasted opportunity, in my opinion. Granted, I've been wrong before. But I went and really had a sour taste in my mouth on the drive home, and my wife said something that totally blew my mind. Because as we're driving home, and she's like, oh, I'm sorry that sucked. I'm like, yeah, I was just hoping that, maybe bins would be refilled. That's all I wanted, because I'm willing to spend money, clearly. And I said, I really don't want this to become where I just go to eBay or to online comic shops to pick up my stuff. And my wife said, why not? Boom. Yeah, why not? I love supporting local, but why not? I've been supporting local. I have very, very hard and fast rule, to the point where I like hamstrung myself when I was doing Chris's on Infinite Earths every day. Where it's like I couldn't review books if I didn't own them, and I couldn't own the book if I didn't find it in the wild.
Mm-hmm.
So I hamstrung myself. And yeah, the wife's like, it's like you've already spent a ton of money at these places, and if they had the books you were looking for, if they had anything you were looking for, you'd still support them. But if they don't, they don't. So what's wrong with going online? So it's like I was liberated. Like because I even talked to you as I was still out. I'm like, man, this Free Comic Book Day is always like the season finale of my comics fandom.
Mm-hmm.
I go into hiding for a few months, and then I come back in like October. It's like, yeah, I guess I'm ready to have my heart broken again. And then I build myself up until next May, and it's like, oh, this sucked. And then I go away for a bit. But I'm looking at it another way now. I'm looking at it as a liberation. I'm still going to support local because I love local, but I'm not going to feel guilty when I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Because I always have in the past. It's like, and I've bought very, very few things online. When I was building up for NML Crossing, I bought some stuff online that I just couldn't find. And I felt really bad about it, because I want to give the local shops my money. I want to support them. And I'll still support them. But like I said, I'm not going to feel guilty when I don't.
Right.
And so I've been liberated from my own prison.
And that's fine and dandy. I mean, really, when you tell me that story about Free Comic Book Day in your neck of the woods, the first thought is like, okay, now the comic shop owners are culpable, right? Because they didn't fill the bins. Yet, they probably thought, why bother? You know what I mean? No one's going to be buying anything here anyway. Why am I acquiring fresh books to fill the bins if it's going to be tumbleweeds on top of them? I can understand that. And then, of course, my experience was such a stark difference comparison to yours, or, you know,
Sure.
just because this guy is always buying new collections. Every time I go in there, I find something different,
Well, I mean,
new.
I know these shops have warehouses full of big boxes. These shops that I go to, they have standalone warehouses full of comics. They're just not putting them in the stores.
Yeah.
It's not that they need to acquire them; they just need to move them.
Or maybe they're just selling them on
You figure
eBay.
for a day like, well, I mean, I'm sure they're doing some on eBay.
Yeah.
But they do have like rooms and rooms and rooms,
Mhm.
and it's like, I don't know. I just see that as comics are for everyone. So how about the people who have been keeping your lights on for the past 30 years? Throw them a bone or two.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm probably being a little precious about it, but I mean, I've done the financial equity and the sweat equity.
Yeah.
And I'm not asking for free stuff. I'm not asking for the shop owners to take a picture of me with my thumbs up so I can put it on Instagram. I'm just there to give them money regularly
Yeah.
on days that don't start with the word free.
Right. You're just there to dig,
Yeah,
baby.
just figure. I'm there to support the hobby, the industry, retail.
Yeah.
I mean, I consider some of these people friends because I've known them most of my life. And it's you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. So it's like, yeah, you know, I'll do what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. I mean, I understand it. You know, there's always the allure, there's always the purity of hitting the wild, you know, digging, not knowing what you're going to find and hoping you come home with something special. While online, I mean, come on, it's everything. You know, you can just, with a click, you don't even need to type in the full name of a title anymore, and it's going to show you everything you're looking for, and on and on. So the ease of use is ridiculous, and everybody knows.
Oh yeah.
I love to shop with no pants on. So that also contributes to that little fantasy of mine. But I mean, you know, I don't know, man. There's always going to be something special about getting dirty in a brick and mortar. It just sucks.
If they have what you're looking for, yeah.
Yeah.
If they, because I still did get dirty. There was just nothing there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
You know, I came out, my hands were stinking, and I came out with nothing. I came out with a book off the wall that was new because I forgot to order it.
Yeah.
That sucks. Because if I didn't forget to order it, I'd had to buy something random just so because I'm not going to take the free stuff and not buy anything. That's what too many people do. So it's like I'm still going to, and you know, one of those shops does have a warehouse sale a couple times a year. Usually there's one in June, so I'm not going to order anything online now. I'm going to wait until June because I want to give them my money first.
Yeah. And
you know, so they're still going to get first priority. It's just I'm not going to cage myself in it.
right. It's like when you bought the Summer of Superman special. It was like buying a pack of juicy fruit to break a 20.
To break 100.
Yeah, whatever.
My Gore-Tex jacket.
There you go. Yeah, so maybe next year you should come here.
Maybe.
Let's do a road trip instead, and maybe we can revitalize and reinvigorate,
Maybe.
much like the 1 year anniversary candle you have burning behind you there.
Going.
Yeah, just like
Warming up.
yes, spark you're digging back into overdrive or something, because
Yeah.
that's the other problem, you know. whether it's like apathy from the owners not rotating the bins or anything, you've picked them dry over the years, you know. So that's a tough situation. It really is.
Like I said, I think I bled the market. You know, I bled it out. But I mean, there's no shortage of books, so it's like, and you know, part of it's probably on me because I've narrowed my focus quite a bit.
Yeah.
I'm no longer the guy who's like, oh, that looks cool, I need it.
Right.
You know, right now it's like I have my missions, and those are what I'm sticking to.
Right.
So it does limit me greatly. But I mean, the missions I have are hundreds, if not thousands, of books. So I mean, it's not unreasonable to expect some of them.
Right.
Especially, you know, I don't know, some of these shops are real big. So it's like, hey, put them out. I'll buy them.
Right on.
You know, but I thought about, because when you were showing off the books here, and I'm thinking like that Fantastic Four book, who is that going to bring into the fold? Is that going to bring new readers in? Probably not. That X-Men story, definitely not. You know, I was thinking about a way to kind of split the difference. You want to promote the new stuff. You want to give the 6-page previews in print form. That's cool, because you gotta do something for contemporary, what have you.
Mm-hmm.
But I was thinking if they stole a page from Record Store Day. Record Store Day every year has an ambassador. Free Comic Book Day like tried something like that. I think they had like Post Malone mumble out something about Free Comic Book Day, like on a video.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure that got everybody in the shops. But I'm thinking here, have an ambassador, and the first name that comes to mind is one we've talked about a lot. Mark friggin' Waid. Because Mark Waid has an encyclopedic knowledge of at least the big two, probably more. He's relevant because he's still working prolifically. You know, it's not like Roy Thomas, who's still around, but he's not putting out 18,000 books a month.
Yeah.
We talk about sweet spots.
Yeah.
We talk about the books that get us to fall in love and stay. Have Mark Waid figure out which books that he would think would make people stay. You reprint them as you know, a cheapy book. You know, Marvel and DC both did the dollar books. But on Free Comic Book Day, maybe you have Mark Waid or whoever be like, this is a book that got me to come in and I stayed. This gave me the essence of Spider-Man. This was the essence of Hulk. This was just something that, because I mean, even if you're not selling single issues, you can sell trade. You know, you could do whatever. But I think we need an entry point that's more sustainable than these 6-page previews. And I mean, I'm not saying like, here's Fantastic Four #1 from 1961. It's like, because that's dated, it might not catch everybody's eye. It would just be people like you and me who have read it 100 times who pick it up. But maybe like a sweet spot book, where you read it and you fall in love with it and you want more of it.
Mm-hmm.
Any era, any time, any character. You know, maybe we split the difference, we have the relevant stuff, but maybe we take out Incredible Hulk Teaches You Arithmetic. Maybe we get rid of that crap. You know, maybe we get rid of the Super Pets crap. And we put a seminal Superman story, a seminal Batman story, something that's going to actually catch somebody's attention, wet their whistle, and make them want to come back, because it'll all be there for them. Even if they're going to Barnes & Noble for it, even if they're going to Amazon for it. We want to build comic book fans. And what they have right now is not doing that. In you know, speaking broadly.
Right. The books you just cited, I just think serve as pacifiers. Like, grown men going to the comic shop that day, they got kids, here, take this, leave me alone. You know, it's like a safe, all ages reading material. It's going to end up in the garbage can later kind of book. But I totally hear what you're saying. And the first thing that came to my mind was like, you're right. You don't want something dated, because that's going to do nothing for anybody. But sweet spots, or I remember Marvel for a while had like true believers.
Sure, the dollar books.
Yeah. And those just hit little different keys in history and what have you. Mm-hmm. But if you did something like that, more contemporary, yeah, that's valid, very valid, you know?
I mean, cause like, could you imagine, like, I mean, you're not a Titans fan, but if they reprinted Who is Donna Troy as a freebie on Free Comic Book Day,
right,
it would totally blow people's minds, I think. Because it's pure soap, but it's amazingly done. You know, that issue of Hulk you have right there. You know, throw that out as a Free Comic Book Day. Mm-hmm. You know, just these little moments that might catch you and keep you. Because, you know, that Incredible Hulk teaches you fractions is not going to get anybody to come or stay. It's...
Yeah.
Well. And I mean, I don't think anybody's picking those up with any sort of eye toward anything. It's just, like you said, it's a pacifier.
Yeah.
Here's stupid crap. Flip through it.
Well...
Do the crossword in the back, or the word search.
It's the little mat you get at like Friendly's or a different restaurant for the the kids. I will say this: I think the book that got my kid hooked was that Amazing Spider-Man Free Comic Book Day issue. Because he only grabbed 2. He grabbed that, and he grabbed the Godzilla book from IDW. To which he said he liked that as well. So, you know what I think it was, at least in our case, for my kid, and this is something I have complained about a lot over the years due to inconsistency, and that is the humor with a Joe Kelly story, because when he's on and he hits, he's hilarious. He really can be, but that's the tough thing about comedy. You know, if you're having a rough night, you're not doing a good set, you're going to get booed off the stage, and some of his books just fall into that category. This one, I think the humor was just spot on, and it struck a chord with my son, you know? So I think that was the hook, you know what I mean? Maybe something funny, maybe something focusing on, you know, top tier character, not overly serious, still a little lighthearted, but a good adventure, you know? And
but also consider that that's a twice monthly book, $10 a month at least.
Yeah, well, okay, I'm glad you brought that up. I actually had a couple more books I forgot to show. I want to show them off before we switch gears from Free Comic Book Day later. That's where the dollar sale came in really important for me. Because my kid, and this could be a problem, obviously, he's not like, Dad, I want to sub to Spider-Man now. He's like, I just want to read more Spider-Man comics. You know? I want to, you know, read these different stories randomly. The continuity aspect is not like a selling point or anything, you know? So if I grab a handful of Spider-Man issues, they don't need to be by the same writer or same artist creative team. Sure. They can just be, he's still sampling, he's still trying to discover what his tastes truly are.
Sure.
And to be honest with you, as someone who'd be paying for the whole kit and caboodle, I wouldn't feel very comfortable subbing to these series for my 12-year-old anyway. Just because how he manhandles those books. Oh, the audacity. Oh my God.
Well, he owns them, remember?
Huh?
He owns them.
Yeah, well.
Not the other way.
I guess. I don't know. I just see him, he's like flipping the thing wide open. I'm like, oh, don't do that. But I'm keeping it to myself. I'm keeping my cool, bro.
Don't harsh his...
No, man. Yeah, I'm not trying to yuck his yum. He's enjoying the book. Run free, young man. Run free. And he actually asked me, because I told him I had a shipment coming in today. He's like, oh, my book's part of that shipment? And I'm like, nah, that's next time. And he's like, oh, he's bummed out. So this is exciting times in Casa de Schultz. How do we fix Free Comic Book Day? You've given us some options, some very good, viable solutions. I do have to plug the email. If anybody else has any ideas,
for sure.
badabinshow@gmail.com. But real quick, I want to show these off because these got me more jacked than the other books I showed you. I forgot to display them earlier during my spiel because they were far away from me. But, I love parody. I love satire. And not only did I find an issue of Mad I needed, I found an issue of Cracked I needed as well. So, happy guy, dude. And I know you see these and go, these are not the magazines I'm looking for. But me, this was, oh, what? Gimme, please. I need those in my life. So, very excited to acquire these.
So weird. So I'm watching you on the screen here, and you're freezing up in our chat. You're okay on the screen.
Oh.
So I think we're okay.
Okay.
I hope.
I hope so, too. I mean, to be perfectly honest, some of your audio, it maybe is working both ways, is a little crackly. But I'm just watching us here on my computer screen, and it's not freezing, so I'm just like, go with the flow. Let's not,
Make it happen.
Yeah, let's keep good vibes going, man. Maybe Chris Yu can comment and let us know how it's looking on his screen at home. Or anybody else, you want to comment? I feel bad.
Please do.
We're like, yeah, Chris Yu. We're only talking to Chris Yu, but it's like, hey, anybody else out there, feel free to chime in. You're more than welcome. Now, Chris, what would you like to discuss next on this Badaversary episode? You got any ideas, any preferences?
Hold on, you did break up there.
Oh,
What'd you say?
I was asking what you'd like to veer into next. Is there something on your plate that you'd like to discuss?
I got a few things, but I mean nothing too crazy.
Okay.
I did do a little bit of a retro read this week, which was unexpected, but it was a lot of fun.
Okay,
And
do tell.
Let's see here. Chris, you says still look good. Very few small glitches. Okay.
I guess we'll take it.
That should be our tagline. Yes. Yeah, I was struck by a
Lightning?
a bit of nostalgia.
Oh.
If only.
Okay.
If only. Where I wanted to revisit a story that was my time, but one that I discovered at a very weird time in my life. And even just the story of me getting this trade is a story.
Okay.
It is Omega the Unknown. You ever read
Nice.
this?
I did not. I'm aware of it. Never read it.
Okay. Now I discovered this. Actually, I'd never heard of that before. I never heard of Omega the Unknown. And I was going through one of the shops, probably 2007, 2008, and I saw the reimagining of Omega the Unknown, which I also have in. It's actually hardcover. I found it in like a dollar bin. But I saw the logo here. This isn't the cover from the first issue, but similar art, of course. It's the same artist. Doesn't look like a Marvel book. And they don't even have the ugly red triangle, the red rectangle on here. That's cool.
Yeah, it looks like an indie.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be like an Oni book or something, and I saw the little Marvel logo and was like, "The hell is that?" So I picked it up, the first issue of it, and did a little bit of research. Discovered that it was a Steve Gerber joint from the mid '70s. Then set my sights on tracking down the first run, which ran 10 issues. And the more I learned about it, the more it was like a weird sort of dissonance where I wanted to read more about it, but also at the same time I didn't, because it was kind of a snake bit series. It ended very poorly. It ended abruptly and then was shifted into the Defenders book, which was not written by Gerber. And it kind of tied up all the mystery of Omega in a very unsatisfying kind of way. So even as I was revisiting it here this weekend or last weekend, um, the further I got into it, the more I loved it. But at the same time, like, oh, it's gonna fall apart at the end. It's just gonna be crap. It's like watching the second season of Twin Peaks. It's like, oh, it's getting really good, and it's like, oh, it's gonna suck after the thing happens. Um, but Omega the Unknown, I mean, it is one of those sayings that we hear way too much is like ahead of its time. Omega the Unknown actually was did doesn't it's very very gritty from a period before the gritty era hit comics. This is mid 70s, but like there's a scene where the kid sees like someone pooping in a hallway in an apartment building because it's like a rundown tenement. It's like that's gritty urban kind of stuff that you'd expect like maybe post-crisisy, like mid 80s during like the black and white indie boom or something. And here it is in the 70s. It's a really really cool story. I'd recommend it to anybody. I've actually never read the single issues of it. I have them all, but I read the first one in singles, but then the rest of it I've read in the trade. Now this trade came out, I want to say early 2008, and it was like the week before I lost my job. I was driving through a really crappy part of town because I worked in a really crappy part of town, and discovered this comic shop I'd never seen before. And at the time, I was collecting, or I was trying to pick up the Doom Patrol trades, the Morrison Doom Patrol. So I'm like, because not every shop had them, especially the later volumes. So I popped in there to see if they had it. And the guy told me, he's like, oh, I don't order Vertigo. I don't want that kind of clientele. He wanted all ages stuff, just superhero stuff. And I turn and I see an issue, a new issue of Savage Dragon on the thing. I'm like, have you looked through Savage Dragon lately? And he's like, no. I'm like, okay. I mean, you want to talk about mature books. But he wouldn't order Doom Patrol for me. But he's like, these are the books that are coming out soon if you want to order anything. And Omega the Unknown, the trade was there. So I'm like, oh, yeah, why not? I'll take that. Because at that point, I hadn't read any of the older stuff yet. And I paid for it, and I left, lost my job. And on my way home from like my last day at work, I drove by to pick up the trade. I get there, and the guy's like, yeah, I don't have it. I'm like, okay. I'm like, is it coming in soon? He's like, yeah, I don't think it's coming in. I'm like, oh, I already paid for it. He's like, oh, you did? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, I don't think it's coming in. I'm like, okay, well, what is that? Where does that leave me? It was not a good day for me, period. So he's like, well, I don't know what to tell you.
Wow.
And then I turn, and this thing's on the counter. This thing's on the shelf. And I'm like, that's the book right there. And he's like, oh, okay. And I'm like, and I went and I took it. I said, I'm taking this. And he's like, did you pay for it? I said, I just showed you my receipt.
Oh my God.
I said, I'm taking this, and I'm sure, and I don't know what I called him on the way. I think I called him a scumbag. It might have been worse, but I think I called him a scumbag because I wanted him to charge at me.
Okay.
I mean, I wasn't in great shape, but I was in better shape than this guy. But what a scumbag thing to do.
Yeah.
Because I mean, this wasn't a cheap book. I think it's $30.
Wicked. Oh man.
Yeah, $30. And I was just out of work. I was just entering the poorhouse, and this scumbag's like, yeah, I didn't get it. I don't know what to tell you.
So
no refunds.
Let me get this straight though, real quick. You, sorry, but you described it, and you're like, yeah, this is a gritty book. Ahead of its time, there was someone pooping in a hallway.
Yeah. He wouldn't get the Morrison Doom Patrol.
Yeah, but like, I don't know, you're like, I just lost my job. I'm gonna be pooping in a hallway before you know it. This is the kind of material I need to read in my life.
Potentially.
Wow. Yeah.
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 No, and I even reached out to this is right before Steve Gerber died, and I reached out to him to say that I liked it, and then whoever was controlling his messaging wrote back and said thank you. because I think he was at the time. I think he was still in the, because he was writing Dr. Fate like from the hospital before he passed. So, so I don't think it was him that said thank you, but somebody did. But I wanted to make sure because it's not a life-changing book by any means, but it's one where, like, getting one past the goalie, you know, where you and I, we're very seldom surprised by things we don't know, right? Yeah. In comics. So, like, when we see a book that we never knew existed, and then realize how, like, its tendrils were kind of throughout the whole corner of the Marvel Universe that Gerber ran, very interesting, because, like, there's a kid in this book who, I won't go into the whole story, but he's like one of the point of view characters, and he's sent to live with a couple of women, nurses, and then you find out like one of the nurses was like a minor character in Man-Thing. Oh, it's like, and like Fool Killer shows up, you know, and that's another weird Gerber character. Right. So it's so weird, and then it goes into Defenders, which was a Gerber book, but he wasn't writing it at the time. Yeah. I think it was Stephen Grant who did it, and very, very unsatisfying end. And the one thing about this character now is that he is a Marvel Wiki randomizer character, so Steve Orlando used him. Yeah. Yeah, Steve Orlando did trot him out for an appearance in one of the maybe one of the cosmic things that he did, or something like Dark something. Yeah. But yeah, but Omega, it's a good read. I'd recommend it to anybody. I'm just imagining the Hulk shows up, Electro shows up. It's good. Right on. I'm just imagining someone responding to your email like, "Yes, Christopher, thank you so much for reaching out. How did you feel about the pooping in the hallway scene? Did you were you intrigued, aroused? Please tell me more." I read it in 2008, and it still felt like it was ahead of its time. You know, it's like I wasn't expecting it in a 70s Marvel book. Yeah. It's like the absolute grit of the issue. Just good stuff. Yeah, right on. Good stuff. I'll never forget it now, and I didn't even read it. Yeah. Cause I just know there is some dude dropping a deuce in the hallway. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. There you go. There you go. That's all you needed. You know what? I actually just looked at my TV screen, which is showing the Bada Bin show, and when I did my mock, "Hey, Christopher, did you enjoy this?" Like, I was pretending to type, but my hands weren't in the screen, so it was just me making a weird face. So that's what I was trying to do. That's the mock replying to Chris about pooping in the hallway. I think it was more. Yeah, maybe. I am just hunting pets. Operating marionettes here, yes. Hey, well, that's cool. That's that whole situation. That's a good story. It wasn't good for you, obviously, but it's, you know, all these years in the rear view, it's humorous to others because I'm kind of, you know, flabbergasted that you pre-ordered something, went to the shop, we ain't got it. It's right here. Yeah. It's right here, dude. Literally within his eye shot. Yeah. Dude, that's ridiculous. I can't. I mean, and knowing you as I do, I totally believe that if it wasn't the word scumbag you used, it was something else trying to invoke an excuse to choke the guy out on your way out. I wanted him to come at me. Oh, yeah. I wanted him to come at me so bad. Yeah. Yeah, but you needed that first. You needed him to lunge or initiate contact. Yeah, he had to throw fun first. Yes. For sure. So that way, if the authorities were involved, you could be like, well, he hit me first, man. It was him. That's it. You know? You can't really just say, yeah, I chokeslammed the guy because he didn't reserve my copy of Omega the Unknown. He stole my money. Yeah. There's a dude pooping in a hallway in this book, officer. There it is. Come on. Come on now. And the officer would be like, ooh, did someone say scat? Sorry. All about it. I can't let that go.
I'm sorry.
I'm hoping I can find it real quick.
Oh no. Oh no. Let me cue up your full screen. We need this in high definition.
Oh, here we go.
Oh boy, here we go.
Here we go.
Where is it?
Is that the right one there?
No, I see.
Where it says he smells human excrement?
Let's see. You're shaking a little bit. Can't live on expectations, punk. Oh, that's great. Give him a crash course. Ooh! The corridor has been violated again. Sniff. Sniff. What does it say? Am I mistaken, or is that the odor of human excrement? Yes! That's the most convenient part about living in the jungle, right? Ruth, you can go anywhere. Oh, yeah. If a homeless man craps in a hallway and no one's around to see it, yes.
Does it still smell?
It does. It really does. Oh, my God. That's going in the highlight reel right there. Did not expect that out of this program today. I've been crossing my fingers for technical smoothness and everything else. I didn't realize I'd be on camera turning beet red over a poo-poo scene from Omega, the unknown. But hey, that's life. It's wild. It's unpredictable.
Indeed.
Bada Bird, do you have a review of the hallway doo-doo scene? What's his review?
I think you're going to play the sound.
Oh, I'm waiting to see what he does first. Oh, yeah. He loves it. Mikey likes it.
Bird up.
Yeah. That's the one you were waiting for. Oh, yeah. Oh, baby. Oh, Mr. Gerber, thank you from the great beyond, the amusement you have just provided me for the last 5 minutes. Holy smokes. Chris, you got anything else you want to say about Omega, or should we move on to another...
We can move on.
Yeah, another book that maybe... Well, it's something we've talked about on air, and I've teased bringing it up during our anniversary show. But is it doo-doo? And we've talked, I want to say at great lengths, but really just randomly off and on, about John Byrne and John Byrne coming back to sacred ground. We remember it as being extremely lackluster, right? So I was like, is that fair? I mean,
For sure.
here it is. I got this forum, this Bada Bin show. Maybe I should do the decency of giving it another read, fresh perspective, all these years later, I think 25 years later, and speaking about it on our airwaves. So I did. And here, I present to you Action Comics number 827, and as a matter of fact, I also have 828 here, and these are the Gail Simone penned, penciled by Byrne, inked by Nelson, first couple issues of their Action Comics run. And I was, I don't know, I think this is the theme for this program. Any project or read, I kind of went in with the bar being set extremely low. I mean, in this case...
That's safe.
Yeah, it's safe. Memory serves. Okay, we'll go from there. And reading these, I don't know. Actually, I do know. I'm lying to you. I'm lying to myself. Really, I've been so disappointed with the current run of Action Comics for a while now. So having any Action Comics, excuse me, that is okay to average to so-so is, I don't know, invited. It's welcomed more so in comparison to the modern material.
Context matters, yeah.
It really does.
Like I'm actually like yearning for the Match Fraction Uncanny X-Men at this point.
Yeah.
And I hated that when it came out.
Yeah.
But compared to now, it's a godsend.
Well, I think the most famous for me, like the run that I didn't give a lot of credit to, or is just due when it came out, was when Nancy Collins wrote Swamp Thing. Yeah, I can't speak.
Bang.
I got this reverb going on in my ear, so I hear myself twice. It's delay. Yeah, her Swamp Thing run, when I first checked it out, I'm like, this ain't really doing it for me. And then yet again, separation by years, life experience, the whole tip to tail dealio there. Dude, it's gone down now is probably like a top 4 Swamp Thing run for me, So I guess akin to a child not liking broccoli, and you just mature, and I guess pun intended, talking about Swamp Thing and vegetables, but you get the analogy here, where sometimes
Sure.
your tastes develop and things change. Here with this action, a lot can be said about John Byrne just cashing a check, phoning it in, not necessarily delivering the goods, his standard style of artwork for the masses, because at this point, why? I've done it all. I'm a legend. Why do I need to, bring my A game each and every time out? People are going to buy it just because my name's on it anyway. You know what I mean? But here, I thought his artwork is acceptable. A lot of it, I think, had to do with the inker.
It's still got the resting burn face.
Yes. And all the female characters in his life essentially, look the same. It is what it is. But does it rekindle any memories or feelings, for example, of the artwork from his Man of Steel run? No, this is a little bit smoother. He doesn't have Dick Giord... the echo in my head. Giordiano... Can you help me, Chris?
Dick
Giordano, thank you. Now he's got Nelson instead. But I think Nelson helps contribute to much smoother, cleaner artwork here. And story-wise, it's very copy and paste. There is a villain named Repulse. How much do I want to spoil of a book that's like 20 years old? If you're familiar at all with the movie Identity, see, now I'm having the yips because of this stupid echo in my head.
And you're freezing a lot.
I am? Oh.
Yeah, so Chris, if you're still there, I don't think he is, though.
He left. He ran away.
He didn't want to hear about hallway poop.
Oh. You're right, I did freeze. I'm looking at myself on the screen now. What the heck? So I'm having all kinds of problems. I'm having the earbud problems. I'm having freezing problems. This is not Shangri-La. Shall we continue, or should I move to the other room?
Sure.
Or just keep on trucking?
Whatever you want to do. Whatever you feel comfortable
All right.
with.
Well, let's just keep on trucking here. I was just going to say, if you've ever seen the movie Identity, the script kind of is a riff on that. So it's not the most original thing in the world, but alas, it's, digestible. It's okay. You're not going to think it broke the mold, not reinventing the wheel, but overall satisfactory, especially compared to where my memory just says, that was junk. You know what I mean? So, pleasant surprise.
Yeah, I'm looking... Yeah, and that came at a time right after Chuck Austen was on the book, which was notorious. Started off okay, but then really got it earned its reputation.
Yeah. Well, I would invite anybody to read these again and let me know what they think about them. I will say I also got issue 829, which was an OMAC project tie-in, and that was pretty lousy. But I'm giving that a free pass because it is a tie-in issue. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So those,
Nice.
always come down from on high, and writers don't really have much room to play with. There's like, you are now part of this. Give us something. Let's go.
Yeah, that's kind of where like my like pure DC fandom started to wane a bit when they started all the lead ups to Infinite Crisis, and it was just like, oh, okay, everything's going away,
Yeah.
everything's changing,
Yeah.
and we're not going to get an answer until they decide how to explain it.
Right. Well.
Oh, Chris Yu is still here, he says. Okay.
Oh, okay. How bad is it, Chris? Should I move closer to my router? Maybe to see if that helps. Let's see what Chris Yu has to say about that.
We'll let him be the vote.
Yes. Because I just saw us freeze again. What? I thought we were smoother than that.
We were doing all right.
I thought we were smooth as a baby's behind, and now I'm looking up and all I see is herky-jerky movements on the TV screen, which ain't great. I think the universe is against the Badaversary. You know what I mean?
Might be. They're holding us down.
Yeah, I think so. And it's hurting my feelings, really.
For sure.
And rather than just freely talk about comics, here I am looking up Wi-Fi signal health and streaming health, and everything looks good. So I'm flabbergasted. I'm confused.
Same here.
I am very, very confused. Okay, well...
Chris Yu says it's hit or miss.
Oh. Okay. Well...
That seems like a downgrade from just a few small glitches.
Yes. Well, then, here's what I'm going to do. Chris, what do you say we take a brief intermission?
Okay.
Where I'm going to move into the other room, so I'm right next to my router. Maybe that might help. I'll be in my kids' room, so my background's going to change, and it's going to be horrible.
On location.
On location. So I'm going to change screen, mute. If you feel like it, mute yourself. And we'll reconvene in a minute here and see if it's any smoother and copacetic, so we don't have all the speed bumps. Sound good?
I like it.
All right, everybody, we shall reconvene shortly.
We doing a new call? We're staying on. Okay. I'll be right out.
Chris, hello.
Hey, hey.
I have transitioned into my child's bedroom. It's a mess, as I'm sure many kids' bedrooms are across this United States.
This fruited plane?
Yes, but I don't know if that's the issue, because everything said Wi-Fi was great, but I have the router like 2 feet behind me now, so we'll see. Fingers crossed. How embarrassing. Color me red. Yeah. Oh, no. Do I have a sound effect for an embarrassment? Well, it's still embarrassing nonetheless. So, where were we? What was going on?
Burn Superman Return.
Yes.
Burn Return.
Basically, my summary was, it was okay. That was it, man.
As good as Guy Fieri's Huckleberry.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, that's a good point of comparison from now on. When we're trying to review a book or discuss any titles, we can say, it was Fieri Huckleberry, you know? That's all it is. That's all it was. So, yeah.
You might have gotten a comment maybe from your son who said that his room's not dirty.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, bud. Yeah. Okay, so here we are. Chris, I need you to vamp for a couple minutes just so I can move some things around here. I need you to take one for the team.
I'm all about it.
Now, what else did you have on the docket? What's going on with you?
I'm going to talk about my summer reading project.
Ooh, I like that.
I mentioned not last week. When was this? A couple days ago when we were doing that Instagram gimmick. That next week is going to mark 5 years since we lost Reggie, and it's hit me really hard this time out. It's I don't know. It's tough, but we'll talk more about that next week because it is going to be within that time frame. But I've been doing a lot of melancholying of late, and going back into the old notes and our old Google Docs and our old chats, and there were a couple of books that we would always threaten each other with. Now, my threat was a funny threat. His threat was a one that would enlighten me or would make me a better fake-ass comics historian. Now, anytime we got to a point where we had a clean slate, we didn't have any requests, we didn't know what we were going to talk about. It's like, oh, what do you want to talk about? And I'd be like, all right, we're going to do it. Burn Mackie Spider-Man reboot. And he'd be like, no, we're not doing that. That's like, that's the break glass, because that is spectacularly bad. And he would always come back with, no, we're going to do this. And I would be like, ugh, I'd cringe, not because I didn't want to read it, or not because I didn't respect it, or not that I wasn't interested in it. But it is a very, very hard series to get into. If you were to Google right now the title of this series, one of the first things that would come up is how to read or where to start, because it is very labyrinthine in its telling, and it's a 40-year-old series, and it's been going intermittently for 40 years. A lot of literature. So I decided I'm finally going to make that a mission. I have the first trade here. I have the second trade coming from the internet, hopefully within the next few days. And it's one that I've been looking for at all the shops because, well, you have the title of the series, and then you have a subtitle, which is how you'd figure most trades would be labeled, right? It's like it's X-Men Dark Phoenix Saga. It's not Dark Phoenix Saga X-Men. Well, the way they put these trades out, the subtitle is the title, and the title becomes the subtitle. So I've been looking in all the wrong places for this book because I was looking for Love and Rockets. It's not called that. It's called Maggie the Mechanic, a Love and Rockets book. And they're all like that. So you have to actually know what the subtitles are. You have to know what order they're in, and you have to track them down. Now, I haven't made it very far into this one because you could tell that I think it's Jaime Hernandez or Jamie Hernandez, however you pronounce his name. I've heard it both ways. Uh, you could tell he was very young in his writing because there'd be a lot of words on these pages. I mean, there are a lot of words. So it takes a while to read. It's good. Very, very good. And I love the art style, even though this is very, very early in their career. I do love the art style. The story is a lot of fun. I didn't know what to expect from it because, I mean, it's a book called Love and Rockets. It's an indie book. What are you gonna expect from it? Um, I went into it thinking it was going to be strictly slice of life sort of stuff. So I figured, I'll give it a go. But it's actually more than that. It's there is some sci-fi in here. There's some humor in it's just very, very good. Um, and it's going to sound like I'm damning with faint praise, but I can't wait to get further into it as the Hernandez's styles mature and they become uh, maybe a little bit less throwy aroundy with words. Because, like I said, there are a lot of words on these pages that you may not always need all the words, but as someone who is stumbling and bumbling into saying you should keep things concise, I'm probably not one to speak because I am terrible when it comes to concision or brevity. Not my strong point. But I think there are something like 14 or 15 of these trades. And they do jump all over the place, from what I can understand, which is very little. Um, like I think like the first few trades are about Maggie and Hopi, and then there's other trades that happen at the same time, but it's focused on different people. So you could maybe read them in different orders. I'm reading them in chronological order, like as they came out. But even then, I think it does jump around. I think like they do jump from different characters, different eras to different eras. I mean, Love and Rockets is coming out now still in magazine format. So definitely looking forward to getting into it and understanding it. It's been, as a fake-ass comics historian, Love and Rockets, I think, is an important book to at least have awareness of.
Sure.
Have an adjacent knowledge of, besides just saying, oh yeah, that's the thing that's in, that they promote in, the Comics Journal or Amazing Heroes. Because it's all Fantagraphics. But no, I'm definitely looking forward to getting into it. It's a lot different from anything that I'm reading right now. So it's a welcome change. It's a nice, refreshing. Despite how word heavy it is, it's still very, very breezy in its way.
Mm-hmm.
So far, gets a thumbs up. Like I said, not terribly deep, but hey, it's good.
I actually read a few issues of that early 2000s. I just came across them, cheapo bins, and they weren't bad. I mean, I can't say at that stage of my collecting career or my life,
sure, I
would deviate into indie books all that often. I mean, I think the most indie title I was into was Madman, or Madman rather, or like the Atomics, Mike Allred's stuff. Sure. So Love and Rockets was like, I think you described it perfectly by calling it like a slice of life book. It's like a little novella, soap opera. But what I did read, I remember thinking it wasn't half bad. That being said, was it enough to inspire me to pick up more? Not really. Yet again, I can totally feel your vibes, though, in regards to its importance and, how relevant it was then, and obviously now, if it's still being published.
And there's even like a companion book to the entire series, like a how to read Love and Rockets, like a full tome on how to do it.
Well,
like, I don't know if it's annotations or reviews or anything like that. It's not a C-Quart book. It
right.
actually comes out from Fantagraphics.
Yeah.
But I mean, when I get deep enough, I wouldn't mind checking that out. I always love the companion books. It's weird, like another one of those important books that I kind of ignored was From Hell.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I have the From Hell companion, which like gives you the footnotes and the annotations, and I love that. You know,
Right.
I love that more than actually trying to read the series. I don't know if that's just a Chris thing. I know, like, what was that TV show, The Prisoner? You remember that? The Patrick McGowan.
They remade that.
It's all British.
Yeah. Okay.
But the old British one with Patrick McGowan, the big ball following him, the penny farthing bikes and stuff. I tried watching that so many times, and it bored me to tears. But I loved analysis of it.
Okay.
Like, I love the annotations and the footnotes about the story and about what the themes were and the symbolism and all that kind of stuff. I'm a mark for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But actually getting into the show itself, it's just like, okay. It's like, it would be like one episode would be like, okay, that was a good one. And then the next episode would take like 3 days to watch. And it's like, no, okay. But yeah, I mean, back to Love and Rockets here. That companion book, I definitely love to check it out when I get a little bit of a steadier footing in the universe.
I was going to say, if I recall, there were an ample amount of spin-offs from that book as well. So
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If memory serves. So yeah, I could see why they would need like a companion book to kind of guide you through, you know what I mean, that universe and what's going on.
There's a whole bunch of stuff in the back here to show you. And another thing that's missing from the cover and the spine of this book is a number 1. So it's like you wouldn't know where to start unless you actually did read it. You have to put the old cliche sweat equity in before you can even indulge.
Right. Well, hey man, it's cool because it's got your juices flowing. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's,
yeah.
You know, there's so many things that we discuss that, you know, we can hit from a jaded perspective because we've been collecting for so friggin' long. But something that's old, but for you is so fresh and gets your spirit percolating. It's awesome. You know, that's great.
Yeah.
Right on.
Because it's intimidating and it's a lot to it. And it's like it's not often in a comics collecting context that I feel like a dummy. Because I'm just like, what do I buy? I don't know what to buy here. I want to read this. Where do I start? How do I get into it? It's like I'm a new reader, which is bizarre.
Yeah. And now you'll be collecting them exclusively online.
More than likely. I did find this one at the record store.
Oh, cool.
This one at the record store.
Wow.
Yeah, so we'll see. I'm going to keep an eye out. The second one I couldn't find anywhere nearby. So
Okay.
that one is coming via the internet.
Well, maybe I should check it out as well. You know, because as you mentioned earlier in the show, like hunts and specific eras that you're trying to collect and everything else, as the years continue, that avenue keeps getting smaller and smaller.
Sure.
So you need to allow yourself the opportunity to, you know, pop a Yui and or take a left and try some different stuff. Yeah, exactly, to keep things fresh. So yeah, right on. Very cool.
It makes me feel, it's weird, it makes me feel young again. Where, like, because I discovered indie comics in my late teens and early 20s. You know, that's when I jumped into, like, weirdo black and white stuff.
Right.
And I feel like you and I came at, like, the perfect time because the industry, like, matured with us. You know, Vertigo was, 1993? I was 13, you were 14 or 15. That's, like, the perfect time. That the industry is maturing as we are entering our adolescence and young adulthood. And then discovering, you know, the weirdo black and white stuff as you're on the cusp of 20. and realizing that there's so much more to this language and art form than superheroes and spandex. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
You know, it's funny because this is a topic we could totally go into the weeds on, I think, because, you know, you bring up how we were in our teens when Vertigo was really, you know, making hay, and my first foray into Swamp Thing was a very adult take on that character, and this is, of course, is in the 80s. Yeah, I'm old. Yeah. But anyway, just how, the material has changed. Because really, when you start thinking like, you know, capes, what's the most basic, plain Jane kind of comic you could think of? And for me, off the top of my head, just imagery, you show me like Kurt Swan's Superman. You know?
Oh, yeah.
That's just like... baby books. You know, like, I'm learning how to read. Thank you, Kurt Swan. But yeah, then just how we did come about and come of age when comics really started changing into this powerhouse storytelling medium, not just a here's some quick entertainment for, you know,
not a time killer.
Yeah, exactly, for some pocket change. So it's very interesting indeed.
For sure.
Now, Chris, I don't know if this has solved any of our videos, snafus, me moving into this room.
I think it has.
Really?
I don't want to jinx it, but I think it has.
Well, if that's the case, and this has been my fault the entire time, I will have to sequester my son's room as my new hub. But why, teams? Why? Why would this make a difference? Anyway... what I wanted to bring up specifically is when I did switch rooms, I changed over to his gaming chair, and he has it. I gotta brace myself. Like, you can lean back in it, and it caught me off guard. So if you watch a little bit earlier in the video, you might see me like do one of these and go, oh, because I thought I was gonna completely pull a Humpty Dumpty and fall over and crack my head open. So it might still happen, you know. If you're wishing for such a thing, who knows? But it's hello.
Teetering on the brink.
Indeed. We might need a Bada Bird review of Dave collapsing onto the floor. Oh, you want it again?
Bird up.
There you go. You like that one better than this one.
I can't hear it.
You can't hear it? Oh, it's the eagle screech, which I think. For comedic value, since Bada Bird is so small, that having a mighty...
He's large in spirit.
Yes.
He's large in spirit.
Yes. Okay. There he is.
Bird up.
But he's got his own. You get his own little movements down pat. You know. So, listen. The video quality concerns me, so I did bring another book to talk about, but I don't know if I'm going to freeze while discussing said book, and that is worrisome for me. So should I give it a shot, or should we move on?
Do it.
Okay. All right. Well, let me just cue things up because I am so jarred by this whole experience. I didn't have my things prepared. So, by the way, anybody watching, please, I urge you to contact Microsoft Teams and complain on our behalf. Because
as many trouble tickets as we can get.
I submitted one after our issues this week. Yeah, and I haven't heard anything back. It's been a couple days, but Chris, here's the deal, man. Annuals. I talked about tie-ins, handcuffing writers, making it impossible to keep the flow alive. It dampers storytelling, I think, just in the desire of a publisher to steal your money by, exploiting your completist nature, right? So way back when here, what was this, 1991, throughout the Marvel annuals, they ran Subterranean Wars. Now, I don't know why. I never owned this annual, so I picked it up on a lark, thinking, what the hey.
Is it Pat?
It is. It is Peter David.
Okay.
And that's also, like, annuals are weird for me because speaking of being a completist, which I am not to the degree that you are, there are times I might have a large run of a book, but I have a lot of holes in the annuals because annuals tend to stink. So, unless I see it.
Are a waste of time more often than
right.
not. For cheap.
So, if I don't see it in a dollar bin, I ain't biting. That was the case with this one, and the cover isn't terribly appealing as, let me enlarge myself here. I mean, maybe in 1991, 12 years old, you see this and go, wow, this looks great. To me, all these years later, I look at it and go, that doesn't look so hot. But, yet again, cheap. I buy it, I read it, and let me tell you, my friend, I could not control myself. I had to text you immediately pictures, interior artwork from the book. Panels that I found humorous. I don't know if you actually looked at them or if you just humored me by pretending you did, but either which way, I thought it was hilarious. Peter David's another one where, I will always say his Captain Marvel book was like peak, early 2000s material, and a lot of it was due to the humor. If you remember, it was actually a similar book released at the time from DC. Well, the theme, Hourman, exactly. Mm-hmm. You had Hourman, you had Snapper Carr, you had Captain Marvel, Rick Jones.
It was a good time.
It was a very entertaining time. Now, of course, I'll take Captain Marvel 10 times out of 10. But here in this Hulk book, Peter David, I think, was firing on all cylinders. Here's a case where, and I don't know this to be true, but let's say editorial said to Mr. David, sorry, but we need you to submit a story for this Subterranean War. Annuals are famous for the, crossovers. We're not going to hire Joe Schmo to write it. You are the Hulk guy. You got to give us something. So he just decides, I'm going to have as much fun with this as humanly possible. And sweet mother of mercy, it works on so many levels. Now, I suppose the one thing, by 2025 standards, there is some material that will be considered sexist because it has to do a lot with like Betty and Marlowe and their body shapes and stuff like that. But I mean, looking at it from the context of when it was released, it's funny. It really is. So I forgot who did the interiors here. Let me rip this bad boy open so I can give you an accurate answer.
Yeah, I'm looking at the image on screen and I can't.
I forgot.
Can't parse it. Yeah.
The cover was Wagner. Let's see. And of course, it's an annual, so it leads off with a little silly throwaway story. There was a contest where I didn't even remember this, where readers could win a contest and they are part of a Hulk story. Peter David, Ron Wagner, and stop the press. I'm like, a name that you'll never remember. Mike Witherby, is inker, but pages 26 through 33 take a stab at who inked.
Don't know. Give me a hint. Valentino?
No one's passing gas here. But wait, what was that last guess?
I don't.
Could you
remember.
say his name again? Could you say his name 2 more times, please?
Peter David.
Oh, no. We're bringing Valentino into the hallway so he can cause some damage. Someone by the name of Al Milgram. The Al Milgram line. Yeah.
The line.
We would have sucked it, win, lose, or draw.
Perhaps.
Anyway, as I was saying, so there's like a throwaway story. There was a contest thing here. It was like dude, I don't even know if you can even see this, but it was just drawn.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And they were like, we have 5 winners, and it's just kids in like Little League uniforms with their name on the back. And that's their, there it is. I don't know if this will show either, but I guess I can't see. So they're all the winners. Their names are on the back of the jerseys, and yay, you're in a Hulk comic. But anyway,
Who drew that?
I don't even know if it's credited.
It looks like Phil Foglio almost.
Let's see here. I have to go to the first page. Mean Joe, no credits. I'm doing my work here, baby. But anyways, I'm looking. You got Tyrannus, you got the Mole Man, Rick Jones, Marlowe. So you get a good little cast in that main story. No credits. So nobody wanted to be attached.
Oh, boy.
Let's see. Just special note, last year, as part of the Hulk Homecoming promo tour, we offered a chance to one lucky winner to appear within the Hulk, but we couldn't decide on just one, so here are all 5 lucky winners. Okay. There's actually another backup story here that wasn't half bad, written by someone by the name of Eric Fine, and it was drawn by John Statema, called Hero Worship, and it's just about Rick Jones being at a con and his #1 fan basically saving his biscuits. So it was whatever. Anyway, the real meat and potatoes here is the Peter David story. So I guess
What's the name of the story with the kids in it?
Oh, the little, let's see, Mean Joe.
It says Ron Wagner.
Ron
On
Wagner?
the internet. Yeah.
No.
Doesn't look
Ridiculous.
like him.
No. I think that's just like bleed over because Ron Wagner drew the Old as the Hills story, the main story in here, yeah. So that's where we're at. But anyway, this is much better than Huckleberry. Was it, what kind of soda was that again? Huckleberry?
Huckleberry Cobbler.
Cobbler. Yeah, Huckleberry Cobbler. Yeah. So anyway, buy this. You'll like it. You will thank me. Yay, yay, woo, woo.
Waka waka.
Waka waka. All right, now, Chris, there's been something I've been very eager to do for a while because, you know, this being an anniversary show, blemishes and all, there was a time when we would do early on, like little bits and segments, and we didn't have like a ton of production value, maybe a little bit. You know, I do pride myself on making little graphics and stuff, but I wanted to bring that back. You know, okay. I know Chris, you in one of his emails, yes, bell bottom pants. He has suggested, why don't you guys do the Sweet Spot book again on your anniversary episode or what have you? And I'm thinking, yeah, you know, that's not a terrible idea, but there's something else that we haven't done, I think, in even longer. So, you know, with that being said, I want to go back to asking you an off-the-cuff question. We got comic questions. Ignorance ain't bliss. If you want the answers, let's ask Chris. We got comic questions. Ignorance ain't bliss. If you want the answers, let's ask Chris. All right, Chris. So now, if if you remember, I would just kind of give you a softball question about comics, and you would give your honest opinion on the various topics that I would provide for you. Now, really, I think we should establish, prior to me asking what I want to ask this time around, that, you know, your opinion has value. It's got legs. I think world leaders, you know, people who move and shake maybe in the business landscape, anybody in general, if they listen to you and your opinions more often, the world might just be a better place. And,
You never
you know, there's been much to do about this whole white smoke. There's a new pope, and I think, I don't really know what to...
It's not me.
I know it's not you, but had they maybe communicated with you a little bit over the whole thing, we might have a super pope. But I'm also awesome at segues, and we were just talking about this awesome, well, one great story, awesome Hulk annual.
Sure.
And that leads to my question for you. Now, there can be only one. Who are you picking as the greatest Hulk artist of all time? All time. You can only have one. Now, it could be based... listen, the criteria can really be whatever you want it to be.
Okay.
Whether it's your, you know, particular flavor of artist you like, someone you think has the most longevity, the seminal artist, whatever. It is yours to choose. But we need to know. Inquiring minds want to know who is the greatest Hulk artist.
Wow. There have been a lot of great artists on Hulk. There have been a lot of not so great artists
Yes.
on Hulk, too. There have been a lot of great ones for different reasons. My favorite to look at?
Yes.
Gary Frank.
Really? Wow.
Love Gary Frank's Hulk. Loved his time on the Hulk. It might be a seminal thing where it's just I love that era. But I think he nailed it. I loved that Hulk. I kind of hated it when they changed it to being Professor Hulk because I didn't like it being a different facet. I wanted that to be like the real Hulk. And I think that Gary Frank killed it. It was just such a perfect blend between like the bestial Hulk and a sophisticated human.
Right.
It was really, really well done.
It was Cam Smith on inks, right?
I want to say
because
so.
it was really smooth.
Yeah.
That's something else about that era and Gary Frank's Hulk. It was just a very... It was beautiful. You know, it's a good
great
choice. It really is.
Didn't last long enough.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Because when Gary Frank left, that's when they did it, like, I don't remember, was it not Paco Medina, was it? Or Angel Medina?
Angel Medina was on there. I don't know if he was immediately after him.
I just know that in all my rereads, in my initial, especially my first like read of the Peter David Hulk, I got to that one issue where Banner is in a straitjacket on the cover. And it was just like, what am I even looking at? It was just, the art in there just took me way out.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was immediately after Frank, but it was in the neighborhood.
Well, that was the Ghosts of Future Past. I think that cover that you're citing.
I don't remember, because I had like a frame on it.
Yeah.
It was like 426.
Yeah, I think it is Ghosts. Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing about Angel Medina too is...
Yeah, what's 426? How the hell did I remember?
You're talented. But
Liam Sharp.
Liam Sharp, yes. You know, yeah, because he had the Man Thing issue. Yeah. What I was going to say about Medina is he was... All right, we're talking about how beautiful Gary Frank's rendering of the Hulk was. Medina was just like this out of proportion, crazy. It's weird saying the Hulk on steroids, but it really was. Like, his head was the size of a California raisin, and his body was the proportions.
It was a Todd's mod.
Yeah, exactly, Todd's mod. Well, wonderful. That was an answer I didn't quite expect. You brought the goods. You delivered. So thank you for that.
What did you expect?
Excuse me?
What did you expect?
I thought you were going to say Dale Keown. I really did, because, I mean, okay, for a couple reasons. One, I know you do have this deep nostalgic vibe for that era, right? For the Peter David run. That, speaking of our age again, came at the perfect time.
For sure.
And, you know, I could see, I mean, it's great that you said Gary Frank, but in some ways, you can see similarities of how they both handled their art duties. Not saying that's the reason why I would have thought you would have said Dale Keown, but it's almost like,
sure,
I expected the fastball and you kind of threw the changeup at me, but I can see why. And I do know you like the Dale Keown stuff, so. But why you didn't pick him as number one? You're a weird guy. You're a very strange man. But alas, I can't ask for everything. All I wanted was an answer. That's it, and you gave it to me. So that's.
Chris Hughes says that I am. Chris Hughes says I am the number one fake ass comics historian on the whole internet.
Really? Wow. Well, probably with like the worst video quality. Yeah. For sure.
Is my video quality bad right now?
I don't know about now. I don't have the screen on in here like I did in my other room, but
I'm watching us here. So
yeah, I got it on my phone too.
I'm afraid to open up too many windows.
Yeah, well, you know, but since I did invest probably $322 in the whole thing, I just want to say thank you, and yeah. We got comic questions. Ignorance ain't bliss. If you want the answers, let's ask Chris. So there you go. Yeah, that song cost $326. That's out of the Bada budget. Just so you know, it ain't coming back, baby. That's it.
Licensing is insane.
It really is. Plus, the singer of that little ditty is quite the prima donna. And he required, you know, a lot of fees. His rider was super long, like the green room had to have.
And you had to.
Yeah.
You also needed licensing for the likeness of the Bada bird.
Yes, this is true. Yeah.
He don't come cheap.
No, Bada bird. Heck no. He's not ready. There he is. Ready? Do the dance. Bird up. Okay, we're gonna start doing that on cue with the sound effect. We're gonna have to work on that, some choreography. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna have to like get a little twine from the ceiling, just swing them past.
That's a good idea. I like that. And then I'll hit the, you know, Bada bird. And
I can hook up to the fan.
Okay, that works too.
I'll just go around and so.
Okay. Oop, Bada bot. A little jealous of Bada bird.
We still love you. We still love you.
Yeah, well, I mean, sorry, Bada, but there's a new kid in town, and he's getting his just desserts, if you will. So, all right, what do you think? Should we move on to the Chris Hughes segment of the show? I guess video is working good. Sure. Everything's working good. Now it's an appropriate time to change over, hit some email, get emailed.
Scared to open
from Chris Hughes.
Scared to open.
We'll use your phone.
I don't have that email account on my.
Oh, sweet mother of mercy. Okay. Get it done. Work on it.
Oh, that's in opening my email here. I remembered something else that we haven't talked about. That I got an email from someone in the biz, who I was very excited to hear.
Cool.
Let's see here. Minimize that. Yes. some years ago, back in 2016, when Reggie and I were still doing the segmented form of Weird Comics History, which is to say we were a segment on a much larger show and had to keep things to a brief bit. You know, we tried to keep things under a half hour because the show we were on was the Weird Science DC Comics show, and they went anywhere from like 4 hours a week to 14 hours a week. So it was a very long show. And we didn't want to overwhelm, especially with how tonally different we were, because like they were largely a comedy show, and we were a lecture-y sort of show where we were going through comics history. And since we were on a DC show, we tried to keep it DC specific. And one of the first things we talked about was an imprint from DC Comics called Piranha Press. Now, Piranha Press would become Paradox Press later on and then just ultimately go away. And Piranha Press was run by a fellow named Mark Nevelow, who we tried to find on the internet, and we could not. Because we thought he'd be a fun guy to talk to, get some fun answers from. He was nowhere, so we couldn't find him. So we did one episode on Piranha Press, then the next week we did Paradox Press. I later put them together and released them as a standalone episode on our feed. But I remember when we were giving out the contact information, it's like, if you happen to know, or if you are Mark Nevelow, please reach out. Jump ahead 2 years, and I was doing a little review of, I think I showed it off here, the DC editorial presentations. The one from 1993 had a page on Piranha Press on it, and I wrote a little bit about it. And a week ago, I get an email from Mark Nevelow, who says that he found this article that I wrote, and he wanted to, give me some clarifications and also a little bit of backstory. And he did. So he was chatting about his time. I wrote him back, and I noticed that his email address goes to like he has his own domain. It's his name. So I decided to check that out and found out that I would say he's living his best life, but I don't think that's true. I think he's living everybody's best life because he's traveling the world. Him and his wife are when he wrote back, I think they were like in the middle of like a 10 or 20 week stay in like Vietnam or something. Just really experiencing the world, which is just a wonderful thing. But I wrote him back, he wrote me back again, so we're gonna hopefully chat about his time at DC and Piranha Press, all the machinations. He is a close friend to Jeanette Kahn, the former publisher, president of DC. Was she the publisher or the president? Was Levitz the president, or was he the vice president?
There was a point where he was president.
Yeah. But I think she was president before him, and he was like vice or something.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what you read, because I've heard he was like her little Oompa Loompa. You know what I mean? Right there we go. That's more appropriate.
Yeah. So, I mean, Piranha Press is an interesting thing to me because I am a weird guy, and as a fake ass comics historian, I like the weirder stuff, and I think I have it of something within, like that's Piranha Press, very, very of its time sort of colors and covers. It would turn into, of course, Paradox Press, which was a little bit more upscale looking, even down to the logo. But Nevelow was less on that at all. I think that was taken over by another DC editor, and he was kind of... Actually, I don't know what happened, so I won't say until I know. Don't know what form this will take. If it's just going to be me and him emailing for a bit, that could be cool. But whatever works. So yes, all that to say, I checked the email box and I saw my Mark Nevelow message in there.
Hey, right on.
So
yes,
while in there,
meat and potatoes.
I have a message from Chris Yu. Let's get there. Okay, I'm gonna try to maximize this. All right. here we go. Hello, the Bada Bin Show. 3 days, 14 hours, 51 minutes, 49 seconds. That is the combined runtime for the first year of the Bada Bin Show. To put that into perspective, it is roughly the same amount of time it would take you to watch the first 5 seasons of Murder, She Wrote, or the amount of time it would take to watch all of Twin Peaks 3 times. And I thank you for every second of it. Happy Bada. I almost had that line out. Happy Bada.
You have reverb in your ears too? Yeah, stumbling and bumbling vocally.
No, I'm just terrible at this. Now let's Bada Babble. The new Teams video conferencing that replaced Skype looks great.
Oh.
I knew that.
Well, hey, it did that week.
It sure did.
Yeah.
It sure did. I knew that 2 tech-savvy guys, like yourselves, would be able to get it up and running the first time out. Maybe it was just me, but I think the video quality actually looked crisper and clearer than when you were using Skype. And I can agree with that. I think it did look, for that first week, I think it looked a lot crisper.
Mm-hmm.
God only knows what we're looking like now. Let's see here. I read the Fire and Ice issue, the first Fire and Ice issue, and I really liked it. It does have the same feel as the old JLI series. I had read the first issue of the first mini when it came out as well, and I liked it. Well, I liked that well enough, but didn't read the rest of the series because I forgot that it existed. I'm gonna have to go back now and read the rest of the first series because I plan to keep up with the new series as it comes out. The Freaky Friday aspect of the story has me hooked, so put me down as Team Dave when it comes to Fire and Ice.
Yeah. Booyah, baby.
I don't make good recommendations very often, so...
Well, no.
I don't make any recommendations very often.
Here's what I think it is it's validation for me. Because a lot of times I make these recommendations and you go, picked up the first issue, kind of sucked, you know? So it's nice to know that Chris Yu is out there picking up things that I'm saying are pretty good and going, he ain't wrong. That's all right, you know? Go. So yeah, dig it.
There you go. So next week when he writes in and says, I tried Love and Rockets, oh god. I read Omega the Unknown, and that's...
Well, except for that one scene.
Except for the poop.
That was life-changing. Oh yeah. Yeah. I need a sound effect for that one too. Actually, I have one right here. It's a song we used a couple weeks ago. Maybe I... No? Oh, it's really appropriate for someone taking a doo-doo in the hallway. No, okay. Yes.
Seeing as how the Action Comics issue mentioned on the show takes place vastly out of continuity, I have to ask if you feel it is just a filler story to pad out the series until Mark Waid takes over for the Summer of Superman.
Of course.
Yes, of course. Just from the review, I don't see how that story holds any importance other than being an issue of Action Comics that was published back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yep.
The entire Superman Superstars thing has been that. It's just been filler until they could figure out what the hell they were going to do.
Listen, man, if it gave me a new sense of appreciation for the Gail Simone and John Byrne Action Comics, thinking, well, this is average. I love it because it's better than what we're getting. That says a lot. A lot.
No, you just got to go back to the Chuck Austin and J.D. Finn books.
Oh yeah, can't wait.
See if those have aged any better.
My shoes are on fire. I'm running to the store.
Do it up. Just to fill you in on what I've been reading that you are not.
Okay. Challengers
of the Unknown had such potential when it started, but ended very anticlimactically. Dude, I thought I canceled that. I have like 5 issues of it. I don't know how. I every month I remember like not ordering it, but I guess I did.
Wait. Let's see if this works in reverse, because Chris Yu did not care for it. You're going to read it and see if you enjoy it.
I read like the first few pages of it and I couldn't get any further. And that's when I was like, okay,
enough said.
This is done.
Well, that was Cantwell, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I like Cantwell on Iron Man.
Giordano. Okay. Giordano. See, I can't speak. It's bothering me.
Or Giordano.
Giordano. Damn. Okay. Left field. Sorry. Reverb.
It's all good.
Hello.
And the other JLU adjacent book I was reading, The Question All Along the Watchtower, seemed like an interesting concept at its outset, but flopped on the delivery and the ending. I don't recommend either of them at all.
That's interesting because I passed on the Watchtower book, and I later learned that it features the Eradicator, which I find very intriguing. So I was going to pre-order the trade, and I did look at his email, and I went, oh no, what am I going to do? Should I still pick up the trade on the cheap and just kind of, I don't know, check it out? Or should I just say, Chris, you didn't like it. I think I'm just going to skip it entirely until maybe someday, possibly, it's, $3 or $4. I don't know.
Could be.
I don't know what to do. Chris, what should I do? Should I buy it, trade form at a discount, or just keep on keeping on and just skip it?
I didn't like how they just launched all these miniseries at once.
Yeah, well.
It feels like the new era hasn't earned that yet.
Well, welcome to the real world, Bubba.
Right.
Yeah.
Chris, who continues. And I think I might be dropping Justice League Unlimited 2.
Oh.
The revelation of who Inferno were was underwhelming for me. And the forced crossover with World's Finest less than a year into its run makes me say no.
Okay.
That's another thing. It's not earned. I want Mark Waid as the ambassador for Free Comic Book Day, but I mean, let's calibrate a little.
Sure.
I need to ask. We're asking Chris something. I don't know if you want to bring it up.
Well, I could. You know what I can do? Here's an idea. Why don't you just shimmy? Do you know how to shimmy? How to shake?
How do you shimmy? This?
Or something. Like, let's say you're out with your better half. Social situation.
That I don't understand.
Okay. All right. Let's say you're at home in private. A song comes on that you just cannot deny the vibes. It feels good. How would you express?
We'll be kicked off YouTube
What?
We'll be kicked off of YouTube.
Really? Can we see a little sample?
No.
Come on!
We got comic questions. Ignorance ain't bliss. If you want the answers, let's ask Chris. We got comic questions. Ignorance ain't bliss.
Come on, man. Let your hair down. Jeez Louise, you're such a prude. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you look like you're seasick. That's what's happening there. Yes. All right. Please continue. Yes.
He needs to ask Chris, is Titans worth giving another chance? I read through Beast World, but then let it drop, like a lot of people. With the return of Deathstroke being hyped up, I'm thinking of giving it another shot. So tell a lapsed Titans fan, yay or nay. It's okay. Yeah, that's the thing with Titans. I think I've talked about this before somewhere. I talk a lot about it. But everybody who gets on the Titans wants to play the Titans hits. And every Titans writer does that. Like, every Titans writer has, like, the homecoming. It's like, hey, we're all together again. Even if it's, like, the next issue of a series that they were already in. It's like the reintroduction to everybody. Oh, we're pals. Remember this time we did that? And then it's like, oh, is there a traitor in our midst? Oh, maybe. Probably. And then it's like the second or third issue is going to have the last page reveal of Deathstroke. It never fails.
Yeah.
Everybody who takes over Titans follows the same formula, broadly speaking. But it's not bad. The focus right now, Donna Troy is taken over as the leader, and she will not let you forget it. So it's like, if anybody says anything, she's like, do I have to remind you that I'm the leader? It's like, well, if you have to keep reminding them, probably, yes, you do. But it's just very, not quite as, like, churlish as, like, the Ben Percy run. But it's a little grating in that way, but it's not bad. I mean, we've all read some really bad Titans. This is not that. We've also read some amazing Titans. It's not that either, but it's okay. It's okay. And I mean, I'm sure you can get them cheaper or wherever you might sail the seven seas. You might be able to find something just to give it a taste. But it's okay.
You know, inspiration has just struck. So I was thinking, you know, because I'm a cheese ball, like I need a sound effect for something being okay, and relating it to the Huckleberry Finn Cobbler soda. Did you ever see the movie Tombstone with Val Kilmer?
Of course not.
Okay. With the whole "I'm your Huckleberry" line.
I've heard that.
I'm going to use that. I'm going to find that.
There it is.
It's coming on the show. So if anything's okay, I'm your Huckleberry. I don't know if I'm like Mandela affecting myself. If it is, I'll be your Huckleberry or I am your Huckleberry. Either way, I'm going to have it next time out.
I'm Your Huckleberry, a memoir. That's Val Kilmer's book.
Oh, well, that was easy.
So I'm guessing I'm Your Huckleberry.
I'm your Huckleberry. Maybe I should add some
And,
Flavor Town panache into that, but yes.
If you can add like the sound of a can opener.
Oh.
Like the
Yeah.
That'll be our meh.
Or maybe
review.
someone who's violently ill after eating trash can nachos. Okay. Well, I'll work on it. I got nothing going on this week. I got no life. Why not?
Can we have a what's his face? Greg the Hammer Valentine holding the can?
You bet. Dude, I'm all about making dreams come true. You know?
Well, we can have Brother Brutai holding this, and Valentine can keep the chili dog.
You know, I was very proud of that graphic, the Bada Bunny,
That was amazing.
and the fact that
was
I
amazing.
fit that chili dog into Greg the Hammer Valentine's hand. I
Meaty paw.
even texted you. I'm like, I could run through a brick wall right now. I'm invincible. Yeah.
That was amazing.
Dude.
That was peak.
So
Yeah.
just lay it out for me. I am the genie in the bottle. I'll make it happen. Okay?
I like
Yes.
it. I like it. So, Chris, you wraps up with, so after 35 episodes, almost 87 hours, golly, 87 hours of viewing pleasure, I thank you for doing this show and including me as a part of it. That's been our pleasure. It's been destination viewing for me every week, and I wouldn't change a single second of it. You've introduced me to so many new comics that I would never have read without this show. I wish you all the best, and for you to be able to do the show for as long as you want to. And in conclusion, Your Honor, I would like to say, this show kicks.
Yes.
Which is a callback to the Asriel letters.
Nice.
This book kicks. And then, open your gifts.
Okay. It's time. It's time. I did want to say on the bottom of that email, before we open anything, he gave us his phone number.
Oh, yeah. 555.
Yep. For a good time, call Chris U, and I wanted us to put that out on air, so I'm actually going to...
AL5.
Boom. I just sent him a text. 555-55555. All right. As you were, let's see what's up with this, huh? The mystery. I don't have a drum roll on here. Is there another sound effect I should play? How about... No? That doesn't work? Maybe, I don't know.
When I was padding on this, a thing came up in Teams saying music is detected.
Oh, really? Oh, boy. Let's see. All right, let's just open these.
Okay.
Let's see what's going on.
Okay.
Chris, what did you do? You wrap these secure. This is Fort Knox. I got no fingernails. I can't open this thing. I feel like... Do you ever notice the older you get, the more delicate you are when opening things?
No.
No? Oh, you son of a biscuit-eating bulldog. All right. This is Chris Hughes, like, waiting. When are you guys going to open these? Frickin' Dave. Takes forever. All right. We have a box. Houston,
We have a box.
we have a box. So,
We got a big box. Yes, we do.
Speak for yourself. Yeah, Mr. Man. All right. All right, so the box. Shall we open it? Okay, I'm going. Hey! That's good. That's
That's amazing.
yeah, that's pretty good. So, just to show this off, we got the Bada Bin logo, and it's a pin. And something, yes, something we often say is we're going to put a pin in it, and we're going to come back to it later. Yet we often forget what we were putting a pin in. We always forget. Yes, that's very clever. Thank you, Chris. This will go up in the Bada Bin Hall of Fame. That's very nice. Put a pin in it. That's wonderful indeed. So,
let's see here. Is it visible? Let me make sure it's invisible.
there you go.
Oh, damn.
Yes, it's my ID badge right now. I put a pin in me.
Oh,
So
They
yes,
are.
very careful packaging. You even put it in the little frilly stuff here. Is this
In the
paper?
foam?
Yeah, it's nice.
and it's funny because it comes back around because when we were trying to figure out what to do with the anniversary show,
Yes.
one of Chris Hughes' recommendations was, hey, all those things you said you're going to put a pin in, do that.
Right.
But we forgot.
Yeah. We just couldn't remember what they were.
Yeah.
You know?
I think we said that. We still say that like several times an episode.
Yeah.
So.
Well, in all fairness, despite the technical difficulties, I believe discussing John Byrne's Superman, like his Return to Superman in like 2005, was a put a pin in it kind of thing, maybe.
Okay.
So
I don't know.
I guess I was successful.
I'll take your word for
Yeah,
it.
I'm the one who comes back around and finishes what he promises.
There you go.
I'm the most trustworthy member of this program for that very reason. So,
For many reasons.
yeah, but that was one. Everything else, though, blur. I don't know. So yes,
that is amazing.
that's very, very good. Thank you very much yet again, Chris. You are a true Badabinian through and through.
True blue.
Yes, we're gonna have you DNA tested. Your Bada blood bleeds Bada Bin. So, amen. Love it. All right, man.
That was awesome.
Yes, it was. It is. I'm gonna wear this for the rest of the day, all day, every day. That's my doorbell ringing, by the way. If you heard that in the background, pizza is being delivered. Not a party for us, just for me to consume. So, just so you know. What?
We can have a party at one.
Okay. What I was going to say is, despite the fact that we did have many technical issues this time around, I don't even know how it's been going the last 15, 20 minutes. Yes, thank you.
I've been watching. I think we're okay.
Okay. I do want to say, I've had a lot of fun doing the show and talking with you every week and shooting the breeze, because basically it was just an extension of what we already do. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Our conversations and stuff, but be able to put it on YouTube and have people watch, and Chris, making a friend out of him. It's been very rewarding, and I'm very happy that we've done it. You know what I mean?
Oh, same.
So
Same.
that's my little heartfelt American greetings to kind of sum up the Badaversary stuff,
Yeah, this has been an interesting thing for me because everything I do in our comics fandom, whatever the hell world, is very strictly curated and scripted to the point where I used to script to the point where it's like laugh here. You know, I mean, it was ridiculously scripted. I've loosened up a bit, but I'm still, when I do something on the air for, when I'm doing a podcast or something, it is regimented. So this is totally taking me out of my comfort zone, but it's in my comfort zone because I'm talking about stuff that I almost know about.
Okay.
And I'm doing it with a buddy.
Yeah.
And it's a good time, but it's been different than what I usually do.
Well, you know me,
I
man.
appreciate it and I enjoy it.
You're right on. And I don't do scripts, so I took you out of your comfort zone to hang out with me. You got to be like a loose bowel movement in a hallway in a tenement.
Yeah. True.
You know what I mean? That's how we roll. But anyway, hopefully we'll get some more of this technical stuff smoothed out. I feel like I should get paid a nickel for every time I said technical this episode, but unfortunately it's a fact of life, just like Tootie. So, yeah.
Take the good, you take the bad.
Yeah, indeed. You really do. But
I love the lady from Murder, She Wrote.
you know what? Shut your mouth. Just zip it there, Buster Brown.
Girl.
No. I do have pizza waiting for me because I'm going to celebrate. So I think we should probably hit the road. And that way, too, I can go back and analyze the video and try to figure out what's... Because, again, listen, man, if it's all my fault and, it's because I wasn't in here, I'm moving. I'm relocating, and I feel like a fool. So, yeah.
It's crazy. There hasn't been anything that I can see.
Yeah. I just got a text saying the fan in here was too loud. Turn off the fan. Have you heard this fan?
At all.
Really? I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta go. I gotta get out.
Okay.
All right, so let's work on number 2. Well, anniversary number 2, not hallway number 2.
Hallway.
All right, but I do want to thank you, Bada Bob, Bada Bird, Chris, you especially, and
The whole Bada family.
exactly the whole Bada Brood,
Bada bunch.
Bada Bunch,
Yep.
Bada Brood. We're just firing on all cylinders here. Yeah.
We're a littering everything.
Yes, exactly. All right, then, man. Virtual hugs for all of you. Thank you very much. See you on the flippity flap, and good times. Adios.
See ya.